All right, this is lesson 2.5 in algebra. This is solving equations involving absolute value. This is something that will be probably pretty new to you. You don't see this very often, but you do see it, and so we got to know how to do it. It is not super difficult. Once you understand the concept behind it, it is simple. Here's the deal. I have a question here. Let's do this. First of all, I would like someone to read me this equation. Read it to me properly. Barbie.
Absolute value of x equals 4.
The absolute value of x equals 4. That's exactly how you would read that. What's the answer? What's the answer?
4.
Nope. Nope. The answer is 4 or negative 4. Either one. Notice this. It's important that you see that. It's either one. Could x be negative 4 and have this be true? What is the absolute value of negative 4? 4. What's the absolute value of 4? 4. Do you see what I'm saying? It's either. It's either one of them. So there's actually two possible answers here. So you need to understand that what's inside of here, what's inside of the absolute value symbol, it can be a positive or a negative. Now, here's the tricky thing. Here's something else. Oh, man. Ready? Whoa. Okay. What's the answer to this? First of all, this is the absolute value of m is negative 2. What is the solution to this equation? There's no solution here. Listen, what is true about the absolute value of anything? That it's a positive number, right? It's positive, or it's 0, right? But it's a distance. It's a positive number. So is there any way for anything in here, to equal a negative? Is there any way for that to be true? No. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Jones. No, I'm good.
Pass out forms for the field trip, September 15th to USA Swimming. I want them back by the end.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. All right, so then, here we go. Let's take I'm going to give you a couple of problems. You're going to give me the answers. Here we go. Real simple. 1, 2, and 3. All right, here we go. Paying attention up here now. Put that thing away so you're not distracted by it. Okay, here we go. The first one. What I'm saying is the absolute value of y is 5. That means that what can this be? That could be a positive or a negative, right? It could be a positive or negative 5, right? Either one. You would write this as a solution set. You would write it as, you could say that y is equal to, and then you'd put a solution set 5, and then a comma negative 5, or you could go y equals 5 or negative 5, whatever. Does that make sense? That's how you would write that. Because there's a set of solutions that can be your answer, right? The set is only two things, but there's a set. Yeah. I want the squiggly thing. Okay? We're not like this is a quiz right now. I'm just explaining to you what you want to do, right? How many of you got 5 or negative 5 for that one? Okay. Number 2. What could m be to make it so that the absolute value of m was negative 4? And this problem is over with before it gets started. How do you know that? Because there's no way. It can't be. The stuff inside of an absolute value can't be a negative. Right? The m could be a negative, but is there any way that this thing over here, that this whole thing over here, Could the answer be a negative? No. Inside an absolute value, the absolute value of something is a positive number. So this is no solution. No solution. Okay. Number 3, a little tricky. Not really. What's the answer? What'd you get? What'd you get? Nothing? Okay. There's nothing tricky about it. All you have to do is decide, okay, first of all, what are the likely answers to this? You're looking at it, it's going to be 2 or negative 2, right? If anything, it's going to be 2 or negative 2, right? So let's just plug it in. Let's go the absolute value of negative, and then in parentheses, 2. Does that equal 2? Well, what is the absolute value of minus 2? 2. That works. What if I have this? What if I have the negative and then minus 2? What if I made negative 2 in there? What does a minus 2 mean? Plus 2. What's the absolute value of 2? 2. So then the answer is still 2 or negative 2. Does that make sense? Don't be confused by that. You just got to look at it and go, okay, if x was 2, the absolute value of negative 2 is still 2. If x was negative 2, that changes it to a positive 2, it's the absolute value of 2 is still 2. The answer is 2 or negative 2. Did anybody get that? 2 and negative 2 for number 3? Okay. That's the simple stuff. That's just you wrapping your brain around this. Now we're going to get into some equations like this. What if I have this? No, we'll make it 7. Okay. Watch. Here we go. You ready? This is what you do. This is where you have to have your brain wrapped around it. Inside of here, inside of there. Okay, all this is on the inside of an absolute value. Inside of the absolute value, what can the answer be and have it be 7? What does this thing here have to equal to? What does that thing have to equal to inside the absolute value to make the answer be 7, to make it equal to 7? What's it got to be? 7 or negative 7. That's exactly right. Inside of here, inside of that guy, can be either 7 or negative 7. Do you agree with that? Does that make sense? Inside of the absolute value in there, it could be negative 7. Why? Because what's the absolute value of negative 7? 7. Could it also be 7? Because the absolute value of 7 is also 7. So how many answers are there going to be here? 2. So this is how you solve this. I will show you how you solve it. Remember, this guy right here, inside of here, can be 7. So I can go 2x plus 1 equals 7, right? Because this can be 7, or 2x plus 1 could also be negative 7, right? Do you see that? That 2x plus 1 could be 7, or it could be a negative 7. It could be here, or it could be there. So notice how I set it up. There's 2 problems. I just create 2 different equations, one that makes it 7, one that makes it negative 7, and I solve it. Line down the equal sign, minus 1, 2x equals 6, divided by 2, x equals 3. There's one solution. Line down the equal sign, minus 1, 2x equals, what is negative 7 minus 1? Negative 8. Divide by 2, x equals negative 4. My 2 solutions are, and you would put them in numerical order, you would say the solution set to this is negative 4 and 3. Does that make sense? You would say x equals negative 4 and 3. That's what you'd do. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm going to show you one more, and then I'll give you guys a few practice problems. Let me get one right from the book here. Okay, we'll make it even simpler. Absolute value of x plus 5 equals 17. I'm going to show you this one last time, then you're going to do it. Okay, I'm going to show it to you one more time. So pay attention. Eyes up here, eyes up here, eyes up here. One time, then I'm going to let you do it. Don't forget, what can be inside of here and have this equation be true? 17 or negative 17. Either one. So then I'm going to take that circle, I'm going to go take that guy right here. I'm going to put x plus 5. He can either be 17 or he can be x plus 5 could be negative 17. Do you see what I'm talking about? It could be either one. Line down the equal sign, minus 5, x equals 12, or minus 5, x equals negative 22. My solution set would be x equals solution set negative 22 or 12. Like I said, once you wrap your brain around this, it's not difficult. You just have to understand that inside the parentheses, inside the absolute value, it can be a positive or it could be a negative. Then you make the two. All right, here's your samples. Let's see if you can do this. Number 1, we'll do y plus 2 in the absolute value equals 4. Not difficult. We'll do number 2 over here. We're going to go absolute value of p minus 6 equals negative 3. Number 3, that's it. You can do this. We'll just do. Okay, you're watching. Here we go on this first one. This guy in here, what can he be? 4 or negative 4, right? We're just looking over here. All he does is look over here and goes, what can he be? Well, the absolute value of 4 or negative 4 would be 4. Agreed? So then you're going to just move that over. You're going to go, okay, y plus 2 equals 4, and then y plus 2 equals negative 4. I'm going to make 2 equations. Minus 2, y equals 2. Minus 2, y equals negative 6. My solution set is y equals negative 6 and 2. How many of you got that one? Y equals 6 and negative 2. Good. You all should have. Number 2, you should look at that problem and instantly stop and realize, wait a second. When you go like this, when you go through the process, you go, okay, right there, this guy, the absolute value needs to equal negative 3. Oh, right, that's not possible. Right? That's not possible. No absolute value can be a negative. So the answer is no solution. How many of you got that? Did you forget that one? Forgot about that? If you see that negative out there, boom, it's over. No matter what is inside that absolute value, it can't be a negative. Okay, this last one here, this in here, what can it be? What can this guy be? 9 or negative 9. So I'm going to write it. 3x minus 3 equals 9. And 3x minus 3 equals a negative 9. Plus 3 plus 3. 3x equals 12. Divide 3. X equals 4. Plus 3 plus 3. 3x equals negative 6. Divide 3. X equals negative 2. Solution set is x equals negative 2 and 4. Have you got that? You didn't get there, right? Okay. Did you not get that one? You got it? Okay. I'm going to show you a more difficult one, a more challenging one. Okay? Here's my recommendation. Know this. Nothing changes just because it looks ugly. The rules don't change just because things look ugly, okay? Also, the only time you can actually do this and go and do what we've been doing and actually go, okay, what's inside of here? You know, the only time we can actually do that is if the entire side is inside of the absolute value. So what we're trying to do here is, yes, you want to solve for the variable, but we've got to clear everything out of that house except for the absolute value symbol. What I mean by is this. If I have this, what if I have 2, what if I have 2 times the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 8? This is what you have to do. Line down the equal sign. I can't do anything here until the only thing I have on this side is inside of absolute value. So what am I going to do? In order to clear out that 2 who's outside of that, what do I have to do? Divide by 2, divide by 2. He's gone. Now I have the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 4, and now I can do my problem. Does that make sense? Did you follow that at all? We'll see. We'll see. Let's try then number 40 there at the bottom of 106. It's 2 times h, 2 times the absolute value of h, minus 3 equals 8. Get that one done for me. You think you're so good at this? So here's the deal. Line down the equal sign. Is the variable happy? No. He's inside the absolute value symbol. As soon as you see that, what do I have to do? When you have an absolute value equation, you've got to clear everything else out of the absolute value. All that should be left is what's inside the absolute value. So I got to clear things out. What am I going to clear out? The 2 or the negative 3? No. What is the rule? The rules don't change just because it's ugly. This is being multiplied. When I'm going to solve, when I'm going to shove things to one side of the equation, what do? Reverse order of operations. Just like always. Just because things are ugly, the rules don't change. Plus 3 plus 3. Right? 2 times the absolute value of h equals 11. Divide by 2, divide by 2. The absolute value of h is 5. What is it? It's 5.5 or 5.5, right? You can even leave it as 11 halves. So then, what's the solution? I have an absolute value of h is 11 halves.
Absolute value of h equals negative 5.5.
Right. I would even allow this. I would allow the answer to be h is 11 halves or negative 11 halves. Right? H is alone there. We don't need to create 2 equations there because h is just by himself. Even if I did create 2 equations, what would it be? It would be h equals 11 and a halves or h equals negative 11 halves. Do you see what I'm saying? Why are you supposed to leave that as a fraction? Instead of changing it to 5.5, why are you supposed to leave it as a fraction? No. Why are you not supposed to change that to a decimal? Because there was no decimal in the question. If there was a decimal in the question, you'd change to a decimal. Otherwise, we're leaving it as a fraction. Make sense? And you can even leave it as an improper fraction, unless it's a whole number that can be divided, right? You always reduce. Okay, here's another hard one. I like it. Try this. See if you can get it. 4 minus 3 times the absolute value of x equals 10. Come on now. All right, here we go. Line on the equal sign. Just because it's ugly, the rules don't change, right? I need to solve this over here. I got to get the absolute value symbol all by himself, right? Clear everything else out. Who do we have to clear out here? What are the numbers we have to clear out? What was that, 3? No. Negative 3 and 4, right? What's the negative 3 doing to the absolute value symbol? Multiplying. What's the 4 doing? Adding it to, right? So which one am I going to get rid of first, the 4 or the negative 3? The 4 minus 4 minus 4. Did everybody do that first? Hopefully. Negative 3 times the absolute value of x equals 6. Now what? Divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. The absolute value of x equals negative 2. Your big red flag should go up right now and go, wait a second. This is going to be a positive. Is there any way that it can equal a negative? No. The answer is no solution. Right? Did anybody get no solution? Nobody got no solution? Oh my gosh. Who got 2 and negative 2? What? That is so lame. You think that the absolute value of 2 is negative 2? You think the absolute value of negative 2 is negative 2? You guys. Really? Did you end up with this? Did you end up getting here at least? Did your equation look like that and you still put 2 and negative 2? Wow. Great job. Okay, last one. Last one. This is a good one. Before we do this, I'm going to give you a little boost. Okay, a little reminder. I'm going to show you this. What if I have this? Line on the equal sign. Is the variable happy? No, why not? He's doing the dividing of that too. He is a denominator, right? That's horrendous. He hates that. In fact, he hates being the denominator so bad, he's willing to change houses here. So what does he need to do to stop being a denominator, to get out of being a denominator? What does he need to do? He gets multiplied by who? X. Multiplied by x. What does that do? That gets rid of this x over here. They're gone. That leaves me with a 2, and then now it's 6x. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then you finish the problem. Divide by 6, divide by 6. X equals 1/3. Makes sense? Okay. Here's the problem now. Here's our question. Remember, just because it's ugly, the rules don't change. Right? Because it's ugly, the rules don't change. Here we go. Line down the equal sign. Is the variable happy? No, lots of things, right? 1, he's not alone. 2, he's inside an absolute value symbol. And 3, he's a stinking denominator. He hates that, right? So we're going to clear this. We're going to clear out the house right now. Minus 12 minus 12. Boom. 4 over the absolute value of x equals 2, right? Now what? The variable is a denominator. What do I have to do to get that thing out of here? Multiply it by what? No, you do not multiply that by x. That is, the only way to cross that out is that they're identical, right? Oh, the absolute value of x. And multiply this side by the absolute value of x. Now you can cross them out. 4 equals, what is 2 times the absolute value of x? What do I do now? Divide by 2, divide by 2. The absolute value of x equals 2. What's the answer? How many of you got that? Pretty good. Pretty good. Just because it's ugly, the rules don't change. From now on, for variables, I'm going to go 2 times a banana. And you should go, so what? Just because it's ugly, just because it's not right, who cares? The rules don't change. If I have 2 times the absolute value of x, y, z equals 10, what am I going to do here? Oh, divide by 2. It's ugly, so you still do it. What if I have this? What if I have, what if I say I want to solve for p, and I have, QRS times the absolute value of p equals negative 17.6, and I'm solving for p here. What am I going to do? No, what am I going to do? Divide by QRS. Divide by QRS. The absolute value of p. Do you see what I'm saying? Just because it's ugly, the rules don't change. You still do the same steps. You're still going down the list of what you already know how to do. Right? I certainly hope so. Here's your homework. I'm changing it a little bit from what's on here. Yeah, that's what I'm changing right now. We're going to go page 106. 22 through 30 even. And 30, well, no. We'll do 22 through 30 all. Changing that all. And 38 and 39. 9. That should be 10 questions, right? Wait, that's 11. That's fine. 11's fine. Where it says to graph the solution set, I don't care. Don't graph it. I don't want you to. I just want you to solve it. For 22 through 30, you're just solving it. Same thing with the bottom. You're just solving it. Just solve. Okay?